Thus, now to the United States, where President Donald Trump has commended what he described as the ceasefire deal in Gaza, which took effect in October, claiming the war is over, and that's despite ongoing attacks. He was speaking at the first meeting of his Board of Peace, convened in Washington, D.C. Representatives of more than 40 countries gathered in the U.S. Institute of Peace for the inaugural meeting. President Trump announced that member states have pledged $7 billion for the reconstruction in Gaza and added that the U.S. would contribute $10 billion. The Board of Peace is tasked with overseeing governance in the Gaza Strip as part of a U.S.-led peace plan to end the war in Gaza. 6 countries pledged troops for an eventual 20,000-strong international stabilization force in the enclave.
We're providing a model for how responsible sovereign nations can cooperate to take responsibility for confronting problems in their own regions. The Board of Peace is showing how a better future can be built, starting right here in this room. And I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace. Thank you.
Now, for more on President Trump's Board of Peace, a social reformist, Temitope Kehinde, joins me virtually from Hong Kong. Good to have you join us, Temitope.
Right, thank you so much for having me.
So we're seeing billions of dollars pledged in relief package for Gaza, Gaza's reconstruction and relief package. I mean, what does this first meeting tell you about the task ahead of the board?
Okay, yes, the task ahead of the board, since October 10, 2025, that the truce have commenced, there have been issues as regards, so, I don't know, sorry, please. Okay, there have been issues as regards what next, which is how to implement the 20-point plan proposed by Trump. And this plan is all about how to make Gaza prosperous. So the plans have already commenced. The first stage has been completed, which is the exchange of prisoners. Israel troops, both the living and the dead ones, have been released. And also for the for the Gaza or Palestinians prisoners, they have also been released in their thousands. So for the second phase to commence, which is about demilitarizing the Gaza, or let me say, which is about disarming the Hamas military arm, this stage will only commence if the truce has taken place permanently, because to date there has been a kind of, we cannot say the truce have been like permanent, more like just a temporary. Today, Israel losing their soldiers, and tomorrow some Gaza citizens losing their lives. So I personally will not say the truce has already taken place fully that way, but we've been enjoying some kind of truce for a while now. And now that the inaugural meeting took place yesterday, many countries have pledged. It was not just about pledging; it's about being committed to the pledge, and also how the pledge can be implemented as soon as possible. And based on yesterday's meeting, there are 3 key questions I would like to probably raise, which has not been fully answered. First, the question still remains that Gaza military arm, or the Hamas military arm, has a place in the future of Gaza, leadership or Gaza transitional government. That is very,
and I will get there in a moment, Temitope, but I wanted to also ask you, before we get to the second phase of this brokered ceasefire, is there also a sense that President Trump and the Board of Peace are living in denial, because the president said the war is over, but we know that there is still some sort of Israeli bombardment going on, in Gaza?
Yes, the president said the war is over, but the president is not actually the one in Gaza, neither in Israel. But for the war to be truly over, both parties must agree to a permanent ceasefire and not this temporary ceasefire. And for them to agree, to me, I believe that both sides have to compromise. Gaza is not ready to compromise, and at the same time, Israel too is not ready to compromise, because some of the demand of Israel government has not been met by Hamas, and same also applies to Israel too. From Gaza. So, for example, some of the Israel demands is that one of them is that Hamas should not have a place in the transitional government. But at the moment, Hamas just recently elected 5 district governors in Gaza. And you can imagine when we still have Hamas, and these district governors, the news have it that they have link with Al-Qassam Brigade, which is the military arm of Hamas. So if we still have people like that as traditional governors or government, there is no way we have a permanent truce for the second phase to take place. So I believe that there must be a compromise. Hamas must be ready to compromise, and at the same time, Israel must be ready to compromise. So, and also you mentioned about Israel bombardment, but you also mentioned about Israeli armies losing their lives too. Just a few days ago, I know 1 or 2 Israelis still lost their life, the soldiers. And in every war, there is one thing I believe in. You cannot have equal losses on both sides. I don't think there's any war in this world where there are equal losses on both sides. So there will always be much losses on one side than the other. So we cannot say Israel is bombarding. There are still, all I can just say is that there is no permanent truce as of today. Yeah, in the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas.
So I wanted to ask you about, you were talking about Hamas disarming. President Trump said they are willing to disarm. But the issue of existence seems to be very critical to Hamas. Hamas has always talked about the two-state solution being the criteria, one of the criteria for disarming, and that doesn't seem to be on the table. Do you foresee challenges ahead in terms of trying to implement some of the resolutions in this second phase of the proposal?
Yes, of course, I've always been thinking of that probably in the nearest future, there are going to be a lot of issues as regards the statehood of having two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. I'm someone that believes in self-determination, and I've always been a supporter of self-determination. And at the same time, I'm also someone that doesn't believe in terrorism. Even though you believe in self-determination, this is a kind of complex system, because there is a question I'm going to raise today. Thank God I have the ability to raise that question. We all discussed about the issue of Israel and Hamas, or Israel and Palestine. But this same mirror issue is also happening between, a country that, if I mention now, maybe many of the viewers have not even heard of it before. Yes? And that country is between Morocco and Western Sahara, just a kind of mirror issue. So, but the whole world always just agitate for Israel, Palestine, and for statehood. What about the issue between Western Sahara and Morocco? What are people saying? That's why I said, I know people hearing me now will even be shocked that there's a country called Western Sahara. Though it wasn't a country, it was an independent country, but there was a country called there's a country called Western Sahara that's also undergoing a kind of repression, suppression, that's Palestine is also, passing through. So my own belief is like, it's not like I'm not believing in two-state solution, but before this two-state solution can happen, there is a need for some, a kind of reformation, a kind of change. There is a way, part of the 20-point plans proposed by Trump, is also a kind of reorientation. Right. There is a way that these people, okay, so if this thing can happen, I'm very sure that the two-state solution may be possible. It's all about the ideology being changed first. The ideology, the Gazans or the Palestinians have towards Israel. If the ideology can be changed, two-state solution is possible.
Well, we'll see how things go. I wish we could talk further, but time is up. Thank you so much for your time. Social reformist Temitope Kendi.
All right, thank you for having me.